Accessible Sherlock Holmes is a 5-day research and development workshop in collaboration with Dundee Rep and Creative Scotland. Its purpose is to explore new, exciting ways of making conventional theatre more inclusive and accessible for disabled audiences and performers.
We haven't seen much conventional theatre that's accessible or inclusive, so that's what drove us to try this, because we wanted to, one of the questions that we wanted to ask actually way back when we filled out the application form, we wanted to know, was there maybe a specific reason why that was, why there isn't theatre like that out there, or why people haven't explored it, or is it possible to adapt conventional theatre, you know, and to what extent? And I think we've come to the basic answer that yes, it is possible.
You have worked with accessible theatre companies, but the whole kind of point of this is something new. This is something new and exciting, and we are taking a piece of text that is very traditional and trying to make it work with access. And that's really the whole point of the project.
In every version of scenes that we did, in every style, there is room for accessibility, and it happened very naturally. It wasn't a case of us having to force it in any way, or having to stop what we were doing and really think about it. It naturally came up in discussions with ourselves, with each other, with the actors, and with anyone else who saw it. It just naturally came up, right, okay, how can we make this more accessible, but in a way that the accessibility never became the emphasis. There was always still very much a story in every version of any scene that we did. We were always essentially just telling stories.
First and foremost, I want to tell a story, I want to play. And I think actually things like what you want to achieve with this, which is just tell the story to a group of people, like will start to change that preconceived idea that an audience have about disability theatres.
What we're interested in fundamentally is how do people tell stories, and that includes how would a deaf person tell a story, how would somebody how it's about how we communicate.
Where's the story, and how can we give voice to people whose stories aren't usually told? Because let's face it, that's fascinating, the mystery of all of these untold stories.
Over 5 days, actors investigated how to balance a conventional theatre piece with accessibility. The workshop culminated in a live performance demonstrating the ideas explored throughout the week.
I thought it was really interesting. I think the themes both of the piece and just the way to incorporate different ways of meeting different people's needs through a story that might be quite commonplace is, I think, great, and something that we haven't seen too much of in Scotland.
I find it really interesting the way that you've used particularly the audio description in such a comedic way to forward the story, and how each of the scenes really did bring the story forward.
This is the first time I've seen a play the story's been smaller parts and it's been acted out, and I've really enjoyed watching the mix together, the ideas coming up, the acting, the playing around, just all of it. It's been fantastic.
I've done quite a lot of development weeks. You never know what will come out of it, and you only really get 4 days to try to make something. So what to make that from a 4-day process is pretty incredible. It was a great ensemble working together, and the ideas behind a lot of it were really interesting.
I thought that was really exciting. I was particularly interested in something that Gary had brought up about feeling the energy in the room as soon as we walked in. And I do feel that there is definitely something about being able to work through access barriers, through creativity, that is about having this time to have this development work.
Seeing the relationships building up, the different characters coming out of each actor, thought process, and everybody getting to put their input and their ideas in, and just working together, it's just been fantastic. just really enjoyed everything about it.
Maybe personally, I wouldn't necessarily go to a Sherlock Holmes, but I think if it was done in this way and looking sort of a Sherlock Holmes plus, if you will, I think that combination would be really interesting to me.
I think it's great. You've also got a very strong story to it as well. So yeah. But for me, it's about how access could be done differently.
We just working with all of you, we've gained so much from this experience as well, the amount of material that we've got that we can now play with. We had, when we came in, an idea that what we wanted to do was to explore whether theatre, this kind of theatre, could be made accessible. Can a story be adapted, in what way? And actually we've come up with quite a lot of, through what we've done here, we've come up with quite a lot of answers.
I thought I had a really good idea of kind of accessibility and inclusive theatre, and I thought I knew quite a lot about it, and I didn't. I knew less than I thought I did, and actually I've learned loads about it and just how you kind of have to restructure the way that you approach work. And then you have to completely restructure it from that kind of conventional way of creating work.
It's really refreshing because we have someone with different expertise, different vision, different knowledge, and it makes me have the ability to learn how to research data in a different way.
The more interesting solutions we find for telling the story kind of complements the accessibility, and then the choices we make with that, like grace, complement the story.
Yeah.
It's great that we sort of involved in this process.
When the audio description is in play, when the BSL is in play, when it's part of the storytelling, it's when it's kind of at its richest, it's when it really serves the whole piece, it's when the whole audience gain from it, and it's rather than being an add-on and a distraction, it's
another layer.
And it doesn't interfere when it's not interfering but actually serving the storytelling. It ends up benefiting absolutely everyone and thereby uniting the audience rather than segregating them into hearing audience, seeing audience, blind audience, or whatever.